Two here in Bermuda, and my name is Jody Shiels, and I am joined in commentary with the sleep-deprived Anna Willcox. Anna, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Welcome. Since the Christchurch event, I popped out a baby, which is not allowing me much sleep. But yeah, really stoked to be here, and someone with a totally different lifestyle at the moment, Chris Steele.
Yeah, early morning here in New Zealand, but what we can see from the images coming out of Bermuda, it's a champagne day out there, and it looks like it's going to be awesome sailing conditions. So we'll wake up, and I'm sure when we get some exciting racing going, it'll be a good day for us all, and we'll get going.
You sound like you're half asleep, mate. Are you the one with the newborn?
Yeah, well, it is. It's 5 a.m. here, so early start.
He's been out celebrating his Live Golf contract that he just signed. On behalf of the team, we obviously had a few tech issues yesterday, and I really thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us. And I know some of my friends got up here at 3 a.m. in Australia and tried to battle it out. So, yeah, it was a tech issue. The gremlins are gone, I've been assured, and we're good to go. So what we're going to do, we're going to just repeat what we did yesterday a little bit. We got an interview with Tom Slingsby before the racing yesterday, so we're just going to play that for you. So for those of you who missed it because of the tech issues, you can hear it again. So here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been lucky enough to score a little interview with Tommy Slingsby. Tommy's fresh in Bermuda. Tom, how are you, mate?
Yeah, going well, thanks, Joe.
That's the way, mate. The boat got there. The boat's in one piece, mate. What's the feeling?
Yeah, the boat's back together again. I'm actually just standing here looking at it on the mooring. Yeah, huge thank you to the SailGP tech team and all the boat builders and our shore manager, Aidan Menzies, and everyone who's put a lot of effort in to get us back on the water. It was a lot of damage, and yeah, I just really appreciate all the help we've received to get us back here racing.
Yeah, obviously Christchurch was a big hit to the campaign. You were leading going into Christchurch, and now second behind the Kiwis.
I mean, I got asked to put out I didn't want to put anything out there really. I just sort of wanted to move on, but yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh. When I see people saying that I thought that we deserve no penalty and all that. That's not the case. Actually, yeah, we deserved penalty points. I just thought the amount of penalty points we received was quite harsh. But look, everyone's got their own opinion. I understand that my opinion's probably a bit biased, but we're just looking forward to moving on and concentrate on the rest of the season. It's a bit of a bummer. We're trying to win the season points, and now that's taken a big hit. But yeah, honestly, the Kiwis, especially the last 5 events or so, they've been the form team, and now they've got the lead in the championship. And yeah, for us, it's probably, if anything, maybe pressure off a little, because now we can sort of have just start concentrating on ourselves a bit more and try to get some good results.
I was about to say that, Tom. For 3 seasons, mate, you've been the chased. Everyone's chased you the whole time, and now all of a sudden, you guys can do the chasing. So, yeah, the pressure's now on the Kiwis. Pete's obviously had a bit to say in the last Racing on the Edge. He said that the only way the Aussies beat you was when they were, to use his words, slightly weakened squad, when they had Nathan steering. So, he's throwing the gauntlet down, mate.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised to hear that. It's not really what you should be saying. Or definitely there's a weakened squad, anything he's involved in. So I was a bit surprised to hear that. Look, at the end of the day, Pete and his team are the top team at the moment, and he's got the right to say a lot of these things, that they have been beating us. We were a consistent team at the start of the year, but they've won a lot more events than us this year. And so, yeah, I mean, I've got nothing bad to say about Pete and the Kiwis. I think they're unbelievable and they're deserving of the top spot at the moment. And we've got I'm really focused inwards really. I'm focused on ourselves and me personally becoming the best driver I can be and then doing my job well. And then I think if our Aussie team really focus on ourselves and we get to the level we know we can, we'll be up there competing with them and these event wins and racing for the season wins. So we're not too focused on them. We're going to concentrate on ourselves.
It'd be a nice little redemption, mate, going back to Bermuda where they stole the cup off you. So you could come back to, take one back on them this weekend, which I'm sure all the Aussie fans out there and all the Australian SailGP fans would love to happen, mate. All the best for the weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. I know you're really stretched out there. And, mate, what's the best SailGP radio show going around at the moment?
Yeah, mate, it's yours for sure. No doubt, on the lock.
Thanks,
Without a doubt.
All right, mate. Good luck for the weekend, mate. And we will be watching, so cheers for that.
Okay, mate. Cheers. Thank you.
Well, they certainly came out yesterday boxing. They had a 1-3-1, so there's nothing wrong with the boat. As he said, that team done an amazing job. So, with a minute and a half left to go, they're already getting into the box here, Chris and Anna.
Yeah, I love it. Him taking a high road as well, with Pete sort of burning him a little bit with his comments. But I guess, that's what this league's a little bit about as well, creating some drama and throwing shade at each other is all part of it.
Almost too nice, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I reckon that was a bit of a facade.
We saw that with his demeanour on the water yesterday, didn't we? He was very relaxed and pretty easygoing about the whole situation, and the results were pretty impressive as well. So,
and you can see here, it's a lot lighter today. The breeze has gone right, Arnie. You've got the inside intel on the breeze. You want to give us a quick little rundown on what's happening with that?
Well, I gave you the rundown this morning, half asleep, and I feel like you deciphered it a lot better than I did. So if you don't mind, Jody, right. I will actually get you to answer
Thanks,
this
mate.
one.
No worries. The breeze has gone right, basically, from what we had yesterday. With 33 seconds to go, it's a lot lighter. It's coming straight down the channel here in Bermuda, and you can see the boats are on their a big foil, light ebb foil configuration, so the same configuration we had in Christchurch. So 19 seconds to go, and it looks like the French are already up and foiling. The New Zealanders are just running along that line. It looks like the breeze is pretty light there.
Oh, they might be early. Are they going to have to duck down?
They're going to be early.
Damn, no. New Zealand, tuck.
Have a go at the Swiss. Bang. Great
Beautiful.
Start there from the Swiss. Up and foiling, and I'm going to credit that to myself because I spoke to their coach yesterday and I said, what he's doing, he's having a shocker. He's had 2 nights and a 7th. Get that thing wound up a bit. So Emmett Lassie's obviously listened to what I said, told Nathan Outridge, that guy right on screen there, what's going on. And, mate, I'm up for a coaching job, Russell Coots, if you're out there looking. I know your dad's about to retire, Anna, so hit me up. Anyway, it's the Swiss leading the mark number 1. Steely, what do you think about that?
Yeah, full slingshot off the windward end there for Nathan Outridge and the Swiss team. They just found themselves in space, and one of the big differences from yesterday is the boats were setting up a lot closer to the line today, which is pretty standard when you get lighter airs, but we could see the time and distance for the front runners they were very early to the line. There was quite a lot of congestion, so I think it was New Zealand and France who were locked together trying to stay behind the line. They weren't able to do so, so there's a couple of penalties involved there, but yeah, Outridge got a nice slingshot off the top end of the line, and then down the leeward end was the Canadians. But for them, unfortunately, they couldn't keep their air clear, and they got rolled before Mark 1. So
I think that's the play.
Like, see how they rack up.
There's so many boats trying to get in there early. It just creates this massive wind shadow. So staying back, you got to take a distance hit, I reckon. For you got the favourite end of the line, but you're just better off coming in with speed, hitting a hole, because there's going to be a hole somewhere. Mm-hmm. When you're foiling and you've got speed, you can go wherever you like and just go for it and try and get spat out in front of the fleet. And that's what they've done there on the Swiss. So the New Zealanders, once again, everyone was bashing them yesterday in the post-race chat about how bad they were starting, and they couldn't start a tractor again today. So they've got some work to do.
It was what you talked about, having that sort of clear space as well on the line and getting up foiling and getting that slingshot, which is what the Spanish did yesterday as well in that final race where they won the race in the end. And today's conditions are looking a lot like yesterday's third race as well. So the Spanish are already showing right now, rounding the marker second. that this is the conditions that they enjoy. Oh, but they come off foils there now.
I was going to say, Steely, from that overhead, that looks like a right-hand course, doesn't it?
Looks like, yeah, with the breeze being right, like you said earlier today, Jody, I think actually opens up this bottom corner a little bit more. Yesterday, that left turn was extremely strong. Today, I don't think it's going to be, well, I think the right turn will work better than it did yesterday, put it that way. So one thing we are seeing, though, is a lot of boats coming off the foils in some of these manoeuvres. Also the jibes as they're coming to the bottom there, but also the ley line's massive. So the Swiss were able to get round clean, and they'll be out to a massive lead here early on because there was a big congestion behind them. And yeah, you can still see there a lot of boats that are going around that bottom mark and falling off the foils, so big losses.
Have a go how far right skewed that bottom gate is. This left-hand ley line here, they can stay on this starboard tack for ages. Miles of room from that gate across to there.
Yeah, for sure. The boundary doesn't quite look square to the course, but...
Have a go. That's 300 metre lead already. Or 250, I'd say, for the Swiss. So it just goes to show you that these starts are everything in SailGP. You know, you get put back in the pack and just fighting dirty air from all the confused air from all the wings. When you're out the front, you can just do whatever you want and go whatever you like. The bottom gate is really, really close to the adrenaline lounge down there, so we may be getting a little bit of influence from there. And there's no room for error down there too, so hopefully no one screws that bottom gate up, or they will be on the bricks down there.
Absolutely. And also, guys, I just want to give a shout out to everyone watching from around the world. If you guys hit us up on our social media channels or also the YouTube link that hopefully you guys are listening off right now. If you guys have any questions for us to answer, any shout outs, we'd love to hear from you guys. We're here for you. So hit us up.
Yeah, get on the keyboards, people. This show's all about giving the news guys something. So the more you interact with us, the happier we are. So get amongst it.
Let us know so where you're watching from around the world. We'd love to know that.
The French, look at the French. Look how far behind the French are again. They had a shocker yesterday. We were picking them as being one of the front runner, one of the potential podium winners for this event. But geez, they've had a Barry Crocker. What's happening with them?
Because they look very they look very strong on the practice day, and we've seen them show some real signs of some speed in the upper end conditions. And then, you know, they came out of the blocks firing in race one yesterday, and then followed it up with two, you know, really deep results. And they've started today right at the back as well. So, not really too sure what's going on there, but they're really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, and it's obviously not a config thing because it's, you know, we had the small boards yesterday, same size wing, but we've got the big boards today. So anyway, I'm sure they'll nut it out. They're too good of a team not to. Yeah, they're one of the hopes to get into the final. If they have a bad result here, you know, it could really, it could hurt them for their season. Remember, we get regatta points, but then you also get season points on how you came in the regatta. So if you come last in the regatta, you get like 1 point for the season, and that really hurts you. You really need to keep racking up those points for to try and get into that all important final in San Fran. Here we go. Here, what do you reckon? What do you reckon Chaos Phil's going to do here to the Danish?
He did a really nice job of tacking to leeward and ahead of the Danish here and made life hard for them. But he's going to be slow as he comes around the mark here. Did a nice job of coming up and sailing a higher course to get the Danes slow as well. So he's managed to fend that second position. But yeah, I mean, that's all really good news for the Swiss, who have already got around that top mark. And any of these tight little battles that are going on behind them just adds to the lead that they currently have.
It's bloody tight in that for the podium in this race, second, third, fourth. It's really tight. Who's your money on, Anna? What's happening?
Oh, mate, I don't know, but maybe Spain, but we've got a shorter course at the moment as well, so there's only 5 legs, so they're going to reach down to the finish, aren't they?
No, they got, yes, sorry, yep, you're on it.
Yeah.
We're coming all the way down to the bottom, and then we
have a drag race right now with the Danes and Canada at the moment, right?
Yeah, and then they've got that, so it's all about getting your geometry right to minimise your jibes coming down the bottom here. Look at the Swiss, mate, they are gone. 500 metres.
Well, you called that, Jody, when before we kicked off. We talked about the conditions. We talked about these lighter winds and wind whisperer, right?
Well, that's what the broadcast like to call him. He's certainly got a nickname for that. I mean, he goes all right in most conditions, but yeah, he didn't yesterday. They had a bloody shocker. You've got to call it for what it is. But today, today they've certainly come out, got a good start, and now he's just set himself up for the final drive into the bottom gate, and then it's a bit of a scream and reach, only about 200 metres by the looks of it, straight in front of the crowd here in Bermuda. So here we go. Race number 4. At the final bottom mark is the Swiss, Nathan Outridge and his young team. He'll be super stoked with this, taking it across the line for a win in race number 4. The monkey's off his back for the weekend. Well done to the Swiss. And now we've got to go back to the all-important drag race for the minors. Who's going to get this? Spain's coming in pretty hot. Lydium Doherty ducking down to try and get a slingshot up and around Canada. Nah, he's not going to do it. He's going to run out of runway.
Short runway there to finish. Shout out to David, who's an Australian living in Scotland right now, and he wants to know why these races are so short. I guess today is 2 legs shorter than yesterday, probably due to the wind, but you boys are the experts. Let us know.
That race was abnormally short.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Why is that?
Well, they try to get a 15-minute window per racing, right? So they try to have everyone in by 15-odd minutes to suit the broadcast. So if we went for another 2 laps, we probably, it still would have fitted.
Yeah.
Nathan finished the race in 8 minutes.
8 minutes
Wow.
and 14 seconds, yeah, that's short. Yeah.
Bit different to the Old America's Cup races in the early 2000s and 90s, right? Like an hour and a half.
How's this for a drag race? The old foe, has he got, he's going to do it to Tommy, he's going to jam him up in the breeze. That's just a replay of what happened yesterday. I think we had seen that twice yesterday. Get that bottom inside running around the mark and just jam the boats up and
Yep.
you got nothing
Well,
to
you
do,
may as well, right?
100%. That's what it's all about. That 1 point that he just got there, that could make a massive difference in his regatta points, which, like I've jibbered on about before, makes a big difference in your season points. So they fight for every single point. It's not like, I'm second last year, I'll just go over the line. The format certainly makes it pretty interesting to keep pushing. So, yeah, what's your thoughts, Steely?
Yeah, I mean, bit of a, it's a completely different day out there today, that's for sure. And I think when you get lighter conditions like we've got out there, that certainly favours the teams that maybe aren't quite as fast in a straight line, because it's more about the execution of the start and obviously keeping your air clear around the race course and then just trying to minimise manoeuvres. And so if you can tick all those boxes, it's a lot easier to sort of get out in front and stay there. And I think that's what you saw there from Nathan. Obviously got a great start off the line and then eked out a little bit of a lead on that first run. Then there was a lot of congestion at the bottom and he never really looked back, which I think was a pretty aggressive and clean way of sailing. But unfortunately for us, there was only 5 legs there, so that made it for a pretty boring race. It was kind of a bit of action at the bottom mark, and then other than that, it was kind of no real passing lane. So hopefully we get an extra couple of legs in this next race. But yeah, look at the start here. This was congestion I was talking about with the French jamming it underneath the British, and then they jammed it underneath the Kiwis as well. So both those boats ended up being over. And look at the run that the Swiss get. They're a long way back at the start, but they're just full pace and ripping. And once they got that sort of clear overlap to lure, they were able to put the bow down, and then from there never really looked back.
It looked like a few of the boats were copying. Yeah, wow, this is carnage here. Did anyone hit? Or nah, I think real good.
That's threading the needle, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you see, it's just, everyone bashes on about it. The start is everything in this race, this racing format. Well, it's not everything. I mean, things can still go on, but if you're back in the pack and just copping dirty, filthy air for the first half of your race, you're in all sorts. So
it showed yesterday, I guess, how strong the Kiwis boat handling and racing is when it comes to their, they had all those crap starts, but they actually peeled their way back up through the fleet for all 3 races, didn't they, to about 4th or 5th. Shall we drop down and see what Nathan has to say now? Let's bring his volume up. Can you guys hear it?
Nah. Can we get the volume up on the interview, please?
Might be some tech issues here from the SailGP side because I'm not hearing that on the broadcast either.
No.
Well,
what it predict what he's going to say, guys? What's this guy saying? Can you guys do some lip reading?
he's saying, I'm really happy that Jody spoke to my coach yesterday and give us the tips to start.
Thank you so much to SailGP on the lock. Really appreciate that these guys are giving us some alternative commentary. Thanks, Jody.
Yeah, that's
Did hear one of the comments that Nathan was sort of saying as they're coming into the finish. He said much better, guys. So I'm guessing that there was probably some pretty intense chats after yesterday and the practice day because, like we said in the broadcast, they find themselves in some really good positions, which you'd expect from Nate, his experience and his expertise, but they kind of always find a way to get caught in the pack, and then once they're in the pack, they just never find a way to get out of it. So obviously, if you can get off the start line clean like they did in that one, life's a lot easier, but I'd say they've been pretty frustrated the last couple of days of not being able to convert some pretty good positions.
Yeah, they're not. Sorry about that. We just had it confirmed that we weren't getting anything from the broadcast. So, just to give you all a bit of a heads up how we're working here, we're working on a system called Spork. Where now the broadcast fires up. You can turn that down now if you like, please. And so we're getting like a bit of a feed back from the. Oh no, sorry.
Let's check out what Diego has to say. Down on the Spanish boat.
Make sure you guys are in that final.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good first race, but we need to keep our minds thinking about winning also the next one because it can be very tight and we need a good score for sure. We'll see how it develops.
And Diego, the maneuvers look quite hard out on the water today. Just for the fans at home, roughly how much distance do you lose every time you have to do a tack or a jibe?
You lose quite a lot of distance because in this light breeze it's very hard to build after the maneuver, and that's where the big losses are, no? So minimizing the maneuvers is super key and staying fast.
And Florian, can see you sat there, big day trimming the wing. What are the changes from yesterday to today? Is it a big change for you?
Well, actually, in terms of the wing, it's the same size, and yeah, all we have is to try to power it up a bit more. The breeze is slightly lighter, but at the same time, we're using the big foils, so that's also helping us to get through the maneuvers on the foils if we pull it off properly. And yeah, I guess the key to success in this last race will be to not make too many mistakes, especially at the beginning of the race, as the race is quite a bit shorter than yesterday. So yeah, light breeze and many wind shadows around the course with 10 boats, well, actually 9, sorry USA, but yeah, with 9 boats around the course.
Diego, you know exactly what you have to do. You guys currently sit in 4th place, 2 points back. So will you approach this start on this next race any different than you have in the last 4?
Nah, the plan is to do the same thing, try to, as we said earlier, no, get a very good score, because I'm sure all the teams fighting for it will be at the top of the field in the next race. So yeah, just keep doing the same thing.
Diego, appreciate your time. You and Florian Triddle and Cole Vandervelde, we appreciate you guys sitting with us for a moment. Good luck on this last race.
Wise words from my dad there, who coaches. It was part of the wider coaching team for Spain, and he coaches Diego and Flo in the 49er in the Olympic class as well. Just keep doing what they're doing, apparently. So there you go.
It's not that hard to be a coach, is it?
Nah, it's easy. He just has to roll out of bed at 5 in the morning and Zoom them and say, just keep doing what you're doing, mate. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to get a coffee. They touched on an interesting point there with the bigger foils. Obviously, it's harder to maneuver because you've got more drag through the water and the breeze is down. But, they just need to power up the wings a little bit coming into a maneuver, give it a little bit more depth, and then and then spin it around the manoeuvre. They'll probably, probably won't spin as fast, I guess, in the tacks and the jibes. But, the bigger foils certainly make it a lot harder to pull off the foiling tacks and jibes. But, one more race to go. So this is when everyone gets nervous. I noticed in the points, Australia were leading by 5 coming into today. Now with that result, Canada are leading by 1, says, because the Aussies had a bit of a shocker. So it's really tight at the top to get into the all-important final race here in Bermuda.
And one more race you mean before the final, which obviously the top 3 goes into that final race, right?
Correct. Yeah,
and just wanted to say shout out as well to Gordon, who's listening from Denmark. We'd love to have you. He's rather surprised. What did he say? He's rather surprised that France, their start plan was feasible and reasonable. What happened to France in that last race? How'd they go?
Well, they're just struggling to get off the line, aren't they, Jody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just typing away. They just struggle everywhere. Like, they're just slow. and I don't understand why. Because, coming out of Christchurch, they were fast, mate. They seemed like they got their shit together, basically. And, but come over here to Bermuda and the practice race, they were fine. And then yesterday they were struggling, and today so far behind on that last upwind. They're just I don't know what's wrong with them. Sorry, I'm just trying to get rid of this background noise of the broadcast. We don't need to hear that. So if we can turn that down, please, that'd be awesome. So it's I don't know what's going on with the French. Might be just having one of those bad days. You pull your boat out of the shed and you think everything goes all right, but all you do is you just fight gremlins, as we are finding out pretty quick here on SailGP on the lock. Things can happen, when they're least expected. So I don't know.
So you mentioned it when it comes to the points where we're at the moment. So I don't know if you guys are looking at a leaderboard or can see a leaderboard, but who is currently into that final race at the moment, and I guess what could be shaken up in this final fleet race?
I wouldn't say anyone's safe right now.
Okay.
At the moment, Canada is leading on 32 points, and they're only 1 point ahead of Australia on 31. And then there's a 2-point gap to Denmark, and then there's 2 teams tied on 27, which is Spain and New Zealand. So mathematically speaking, there's only 5 boats that can make that top 3, and that's Canada, Australia, Denmark, Spain, New Zealand. I'd say Spain and New Zealand need to have a good race, and Canada would have to have probably a bottom 3 to not make that final race, I would say. So at the moment, Canada definitely in the driver's seat, but I mean, for those top 5 teams, if you want to make sure that you're in the final, you probably need to be finishing in the top 5 of this last race. So I don't know. I mean, they'll be cautious of each other. They'll know the point that they need to beat, but they'll definitely be focusing on their own race to start with, I'd imagine, and just try and make sure you get off the line clean. And then once you figure out where you stack up off the line, that's when you can start looking at the other boats and figuring out what side of the race course you want to be on in relation to those other teams that are tied at the top.
From a crash of that nature and that violent is, we're lucky. So maybe there's.
I love it. Just rewatching this capsize from the US in practice day. That's just gnarly. What did happen there though? We talked about it. We mentioned it yesterday, but there was a bit of a man error, wasn't there? The wrong button was pushed. Hit the exit seat.
We've got 4 events.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of have since heard from the wing trimmer from Team USA, Victor Diaz, and he basically was saying that the wing trimmer's got a bunch of different functions next to where they're sitting. So they've got the wing sheet, which obviously is controlling the bottom section of the wing. But then they've got a bunch of push button functions that can adjust, like the twist and the camber in the wing, which effectively changes the shape of it. They've also got a button which kind of inverts or pops the wing from one shape on one side to the other. And he has basically come out and said that he unfortunately pressed that inversion button on accident, and so basically sucked the boat over very aggressively once he hit that button. So he put his hand up for that. And,
mate.
It was just surprising how quickly the boat went over. We haven't seen that one yet.
No. I mean, we all make mistakes at work, but this one would be pretty bad to have made, for sure.
Sorry, guys, I'm back. I'm just trying to get Victor Diaz de Leon on the phone, actually. He did agree earlier in the day to try and come on, but because they're not sailing, they end up getting caught up in corporate activities and all that sort of stuff, a.k.a. probably sitting in the Adrenaline Lounge drinking
having a beer,
swizzles and gosling rum. So he might not be that keen, but, you know, like you said, Chris, they did, the team done a good job in getting him out on the socials and owning it. And, you know, I guess that's good because it shuts down speculation and the team can move on.
You guys have had your fair share of beersies in Bermuda, right? Were you guys there for the 2017 America's Cup?
Yeah.
Good memories. Good memories there, eh?
I was there for like 5 weeks, I think it was.
You were saying to me yesterday, Jody, that you actually don't remember being there.
I don't remember much of being there. I do remember visiting the Swizzle Inns, a very famous little lemonade stand on the island. Yeah, you sort of walk in and swizzle out, I think is the... hang on, what have we got here? We've got an interview.
Let's go down and see what this interview has to say. Oh, is it up?
A lot of crash, even if we're the right away. Yeah, same story next start. We just got to get off the line with no penalty points or crashes, and then we'll do most of our work around the race course. That's where we sort of tend to do the best.
And points are pretty close, obviously trying to get into that final. Have you got the coach at the pit wall giving you plenty of information?
Yeah, I got plenty of points coming in my ear right now, who to beat and how to beat them, and it's a little bit hard sometimes when you got so many boats. I know we need to beat Spain and New Zealand and potentially also catch Canada and Australia, but it's really hard to manage so many boats. The best you can do is just to get a really good race yourself, and then hopefully that's enough for it.
I guess when you're in the pack, how hard is it? Is it shifty enough to be able to get out and away, or is it really kind of a battle?
No, it's really hard to make too many maneuvers. You just got to pick the right gate marks, and then you got to sort of let that decide how you do the upwinds and the downwinds. There's not really enough breeze to do short tacking, so it's really important you pick the right bottom gate and the bottom marks.
Well, it sounds like plenty people talking to you. We'll let you go. Thanks for chatting.
No worries, thanks.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a delay going on here, and I've just had a message from Aiden. We had Aiden come on with us yesterday, and I've asked if he'll come on again, but he says, sorry, mate, a lot on, boat issues I'm sorting. So Aiden's the boat captain for the Australian boat, and they were back in the pack a little bit today. I think they finished up midstream, but he hasn't given me any intel yet on what the issues were. I'm sure he will. These guys have been amazing with their time. You know, we pepper them. You know, they've got a job to do. You can see the Aussie boats just going past there now. So I'd say Aiden to be off it. Didn't look like he was standing on the boat there. But we give these guys a shout out. Any of the sailors and any of the shore crew, any of the key personnel that, you know, we've been touching out to. Most of them are pretty keen to come on to hear on SailGP on the lock, because we're just trying to give the fans a different experience. And, yeah, that's pretty cool to be able to get right in amongst the pit crew, so to speak. And, yeah, that's sort of access that a lot of other shows don't get. So, yeah, shout out to all those people that are happy to come on for us.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Agree. And obviously we've got just under 2 minutes before this final fleet race anyway, before we get into the final. Any predictions? Is the wind looking pretty much the same, or is it a little bit? I guess has the wind died down a little bit, or nah?
No, I think it's looking the same. So expect to see a similar setup. One thing that was notable in that last start is there was a lot of congestion with the boats that set up early, and I think that's mainly because these guys, the build angle to get onto the foil is a lot lower. It's a lot wider when the breeze is lighter than what we saw yesterday. So you really need to get into the line early, and in a lot of ways that start line kind of protects you, because boats won't try and, you know, hook you to leeward and luff you if they're going to be early to the line as well. So expect to see them set up early again. But I think the other thing to note, obviously we've talked about the points, but none of these teams can afford any sort of collisions whatsoever, even if it's a minor one, because of the points penalties that come into play. So that'll be a big one for this next start. You want to make sure that you get off the line clean, and certainly for those top sort of 5 teams that are fighting for those 3 places, you don't want any collisions or any situations with other boats that could not just cost you point penalty in the race, but also the season.
For sure. It's so hard to time these starts. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello. What's going on there? That's
Is that
one
the
way.
Swiss?
I think they're just clearing the weed off their boards.
Oh, yeah,
That's just
sweet
one
as.
way of doing it. So
Have a
11
look
seconds
at
to
the Frenchies,
go.
Jody.
Have a go at the
Check out.
Frenchies. They're going to get boxed out here. They're going to get shut the door by Spain, and they're going to try and get up underneath them. Good start by the Aussies in the middle. Ooh, tight.
They were pretty early to the line though, so they're not going to be fast.
Denmark, they got a cracker down the
Denmark
bottom
getting way
there.
down to leeward.
Yeah, they're fast now, Chris. They're fast now, the Spanish, so they've just rolled over the top of the Kiwis there. It's all a massive big fight in to see who gets into that round circle, which is the to own the zone, basically. This first one in there gets all the rights, and it's the Spanish from the very top. It's a nice job to them. And Denmark and the Kiwis finally got that thing off the line. So, Arna, you can breathe, mate.
We can breathe a little bit easier, and Dad's advice, just keep doing what you're doing, seems to have worked with the Spanish. They seem to have a lot of confidence, and they're going from strength to strength today, I reckon.
This is big here for the Spanish because they're tied with points with New Zealand, and so right now, as it stands, they potentially could edge the Kiwis out of the final here if the results were to stay the same. I'm sure things will get mixed up at some point here because there's plenty of racing to go, but they've got their nose in front, and they'll just be trying to pin their ears back and stay clean here, because if they can get a race win, that'll guarantee them a spot in that final.
Our current leader is DFL in that overall point score for the weekend, Canada. They had a shocker, and they've just, I don't know, they just don't hardly look like they're foiling. They've gone off screen there, but they've gone all the way over the right-hand boundary, so I don't know if they've got issues, but anyway, we're currently there. They're not going to make the final at all. You see on the screen there's a bit of a rolling point score on who's going to make it. So at this stage, Chris, you're on it. New Zealand will be just missing out if they stay where they currently are. But as you said, that'll change quite dynamically during the race. But the Spanish are still holding on to the first lead. And they've pretty much one-jibed it all the way down. So it looks like there might have been a big right-hand shift coming on the racetrack here.
Oh, and the Danish have just come off the foil there with the Aussies coming through on starboard. So a lot of potential
push
at the bottom of the course here.
Big push in here to get in. And I tell you who's going to get the door shut on them.
This could be bad for the Kiwis.
Oh, the British there.
Oh,
boy room just inside.
They managed to keep their speed and they stayed on the foil, so they might come out of it all right. But yeah, big congestion at the bottom of the course there, which the Aussies kind of caused as they came across on starboard with right of way. It looks like the Kiwis going to get out of that all right, but the big benefactor of that will be the Spanish. Once again, we talked about congestion at the bottom of the course. If one boat gets out in front, any situation that happens behind them just slows the rest of the field down.
And I think it was in Christchurch they got pipped for the final by the Kiwis right at the last minute. So it looks like maybe the Spanish are going to do that to the Kiwis this time around.
Have we go this racetrack. It is shifty as. Guys coming off that right-hand side don't look too famous.
No, I was going to say big left-hand shift at the moment because all the boats that are on port, certainly in phase with the breeze. Aussies have made good gains on the Spanish here.
Well, they're going to pretty much just duck them, aren't they? They're going to be about a boat length behind, probably a little bit more. But yeah, you're right. They've certainly cranked up on them. But what will that do? Are the Spanish going to the correct side of the course here, or what? We can't sell at the moment because we're looking what you guys are looking, so we can't see an overall of the racetrack. But that doesn't look too bad there now for them. Looks like they're settling on a little bit of a lift. They'd hope they come over here to the left-hand side, get a massive header, and just smash one on it. But their time will tell. Geez, the whole fleet's pretty much on that right-hand side now, isn't they?
Yeah. The big movers here early on, being the Kiwis, have managed to get out of that bottom corner on the course pretty nicely.
Well, the Aussies just had to leave bow on there, so the Kiwis will probably roll straight over the top of the Aussies and give them a bit of dirty air for a while. That's going to be a bit of pain for the Aussies to try and manage. Just on cue, here we go. So you'll see there that the Aussies are trying to be bow down to try and keep the separation away from the New Zealanders. So they just don't roll over and get all that wing wash. But this will be an interesting cross. Looks like both these boats have got the Spanish.
Yeah, the interesting thing though at the top will be the Spanish will come back with the starboard rights here. So if they pick up any sniff of a right-hand shift here, they'll be back in this at the top. The manoeuvre at the top here, the tack will be super important for all these boats. If any one of them makes a mistake in the tack, it could be very costly.
It's close racing this race for sure. Anything can really happen. There's no predicting it.
Denmark are doing the having the shocker today in this race. Sorry, they're last by a fair way. Canada, yeah, I don't know what happened to Phil, but that's going to cost him. He won't be getting into the final at the moment. He'll be equal third.
It shows as well when you fall off the foils just how costly it is, which is what happened to the Danes at that top mark, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's still plenty to play in this hole. Plenty of golf left in this hole, Steely, as you say.
Bit of a left-hand shift at the top as well, so that's great news for the Kiwis. They'll cross in front of the Spanish and they'll lay through to that right-hand turn. So they should get round squeaky clean here. And once we sort of see how this situation unfolds at the top, battle of the midfield is going to be very interesting.
It's a really short boundary from that right-hand side to the a short ley line, from that right-hand side of the boundary. So they won't be on that port jive for too long. I wouldn't imagine they'll get out behind this fleet and send it over onto starboard and just go full noise down course. But they're doing a nice job at the moment, the Kiwis. They're probably got about a 100-metre lead to the French. They've finally found out what was going on with that thing. They've been bashing them up for the last couple of races, saying they're last and they're slow, but they're pressing the right buttons for this one. Currently just in second place, but that'll play out with a couple of manoeuvres coming up.
So currently, as it stands, it would be New Zealand, Australia, and Spain in that final as we speak, if the position stayed the same right now.
Yes, but the Spanish really need to get another place.
Well, the big one is going to be, can Spain get past New Zealand? Because if they can't, then the Kiwis will be pretty safe. But the other one you've got to keep an eye on here is Canada, because if they can pick up one or two places, then that'll cement them into the final, and that might knock New Zealand out. Spain out.
Knock the Spanish out, yeah. But, they look slow. They're just on the left-hand side of the screen there. They're going over the boundary again, the Canadians. And it's just hard once you're back in the crap. It's just hard to get through in it. The air's so dirty, and you can't go where you want. Boats dictate to you pretty much which side of the racetrack you've got to go to. So it showed in the first race today, when the Swiss got that nice clear air and just done whatever they wanted to do. But, we know the Canadian boat's fast, but you can see there in that shot, they're just stuck in the back of the pack and can't get out.
The Spanish look like they've picked up good pressure here, Jody, so they're going to make big gains here. Can they make their way into the race here with the Kiwis? Remember, they have to get past them if they want to have a chance at beating them overall.
The odd board there on the French show, I'm just coming in to almost take out a spectator boat. One quick little jibe into the bottom gate here, but the Spanish are in second. Still in second. The Kiwis done a nice job of getting in and around there, and they've shortened it up. This is going into the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Bang! Burling
just 5 lengths.
Oh,
that hurts.
Big loss there.
That hurts.
French got a piece of the Spanish at the bottom, and that could.
Oh no!
That could.
Oh.
That could throw them out of the final. Look at that one manoeuvre, and the Aussies could even steal another point out of me. Oh, definitely, the Aussies have got him.
So the Kiwis are definitely through. The Aussies are going to pick up the French here as well because they're off the foil.
Oh, are they? It's going to be tight. inside run for the Aussies. Yep, the Aussies get second, and the French get third. Well called there, Chris. Wow.
And unfortunately for Canada, they have made a meal at the bottom of the course here, and they're going to get passed by the Danish. So Canada's going to be out. They're going to drop from first out of the top three
Phil will be gutted.
in this one last race.
Yeah, that's how tight this racing here is in SailGP. It's just, he had a 1 point lead coming into this race, and he's not making the final. Thanks to an absolute deep fell, and that's just a dejected boat going over the finish line there. He would, like you said, Anna, he would be eating rocks right now.
Oh, he would be. I think he said as well, like only just 3 minutes ago when they were sort of halfway through that last leg, was, do we need to pass any more boats or can we just stay in this position to make the final? And I don't know. They lost all that.
And what that is basically, the boats can talk to their coaches. They've got a coach booth now. All the boats have got a coach booth, and the coaches sit in there and they can give them intel as they race. So the coaches would have the live ladder run and, where they need to be. So I think on the last race and on the edge, you heard the New Zealanders saying you just need to pass one boat. You just need to pass one boat to get into the final.
Yeah.
So they would have that intel coming on all the time. So that's pretty cool.
All right, let's have a look at the start again.
The French, he was dead set winding up for that top, but you see the Spanish saying, no chance, you're not getting in there. And he did all right. He did all right to come back from where he was. He would have been a lot of dirty air there of Spain. Yeah, good job there by the young Spain team.
I'll have to send a congratulations text to Dad.
Just, Dad, just say keep doing what you're doing. Is that how it works?
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Classic. So what's your thoughts on the final? Geez, these races are short. Surely we can get another lap. That was 8 minutes and 37 seconds. So 2 8-minute races.
Yeah, that's pretty disappointing, isn't it? I feel like it was a pretty good race unfolding there, but it was once again cut short at the bottom of the course.
Is that, do you guys think, like we talked about, just simply to get it into like a tight window of racing, or is there something else going on?
Well, they do definitely have to abide by the broadcast window, and I guess they're worried that if they do send them for another lap, that could push possibly the envelope a little bit more, and make the final race a little bit tighter or whatever. I'd love to see him. What are we going on board here?
Let's see if we can get down and hear from Phil, find out if he's in the final or not. He's tied with points with Spain. Looks like we're lacking audio from the feed again.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'd love to hear what he had to say. So you think that there's still a chance that he's in the final?
Well, he's tied with points with the Spanish.
Right.
And for that third spot. So I think Spain might get them on a countback.
Yeah,
so
it goes off the last race. So if you're on a tied points, whoever won in the last race goes through.
Yeah, so in that case, we can't hear what he's saying right now, but I think the Spanish might just edge him out on a countback, and Phil will be real disappointed there because they didn't get off the start line well, and then they had a couple of moments where they were in front of, I think, the Brits, and might have been another boat they were in front of, and then they just got caught at the bottom of the course, short on the lay line, and they lost that spot right at the finish there, so that dropped them out of that final three.
You can just tell by his body language there, he is filthy. He is such a shame we can't listen to this because it would have been nice intel.
I think he tapped out of that interview and passed it on to old mate Paul here. It's like, I'm done.
CJ just gone here. Thanks for the handball.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
So Spain it's definitely confirmed that Spain's through, according to Father Bear anyway.
Yeah, so it's going to be Oz, New Zealand and Spain into the final. The young Spanish team have got everything to gain, nothing to lose here. And what my prediction with 13, nearly 14, just under 14 minutes to go for the final is, I think you'll find that Australia and New Zealand will have eyes on for each other, and after
That
the
could play
history
into the hands
of
of the Spanish.
beg your pardon?
That could play into the hands of the Spanish, right? Because the Aussies and Kiwis will be fighting it out, not just for this event, but they'll be thinking about the season. So if the Spanish can avoid that little tussle, that could play right into their hands for this event.
Yeah, it's amazing how the SailGP storybook unfolds. You know, Pete gave him a bit of a spray in the last Racing on the Edge episode, and here we are. You know, they'll definitely not a spray, but he said the only reason the Aussies won in Australia because they were what was the terminology they used? They was slightly weakened by having Nathan Outreach on the boat. So you know that'll be in the back of Tom's mind, no doubt. And I fully expect to see New Zealand and Australia lock horns at the start here and try to screw each other's starting procedure up, basically.
And how different are these sort of final races with just 3 boats on the course? You guys obviously talk about how chaotic it is with so many boats that you guys are sort of trying to get out of sync with. But when there's only 3 boats, I guess what changes and what's going to be key for all these boats to take the win?
Well, for starters, there's a lot more space on the start line. So with only 3 boats, you know, you expect to see all 3 teams, as long as they don't get locked in with another boat, there'll be all 3 teams on the line at speed. And then it's a bit of a cat and mouse game, really. So whoever leads at Mark 1 really generally tends to control the race. And if they can get a clear lead at Mark 1 and avoid, you know, minimise manoeuvres, sail short distance around the racetrack, it's pretty hard for the other 2 behind to catch them. Especially if they start getting locked together. So it really is all in the start. But what we have seen from today, although the courses have been quite short, is there is some big shifts and big changes in pressure out there. So there is passing lanes for sure.
But also, I think it's going to come down to not making any mistakes, because obviously if you drop off the foils or making these sort of boat handling mistakes, it's going to cost you 100%. There's no way you're going to gain back on just 2 other boats on the course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a lot more simple, the way that you go about your strategy for this race, but it can get complicated based on how the other boats sort of respond. You know, I think certainly for the Spanish, they'll just be trying to keep their nose clean here and sail a clean sort of last race. But I get the feeling that Slingers will probably be going after the Kiwis here because they need to ensure that they beat them in this event if they're going to have any chance at the season points overall.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Jody? You reckon we're going to see a bit of fire coming out of Slingers in this pre-start?
Oh, mate, he would love nothing more to take the biscuits here in Bermuda. I really got a feeling that he will go hard for Pete and the New Zealand team, and because I think he'll probably back himself against the Spanish, which could be a bit of a mistake as well, because we know when they get clear air, they can sail pretty clean. You know, they're pretty switched on outfit in their own regard. So that's what they'll be hoping for, that the Aussies and the New Zealanders lock eyes and get into each other. And the racetrack, you know, you're going from normally 10, but here in Bermuda we've had 9 because of the unfortunate incident with the USA. But yeah, the racetrack all of a sudden just becomes open. You know, we haven't got these 10 wings running through the air and all the dirty air that's around it, so that you've got way more options in this wide open racetrack when there's only 3 boats. So, more passing lanes, all that sort of stuff that they garble on about. But yeah, I really do think that Tommy will try and get something early. Yeah, and in saying that, you know, will Pete feel the same? Will Pete think, you know, let's screw it? The Aussies are in form. Let's try and shut them down, because Pete doesn't want to lose that lead that he's finally got. You know, 10 points coming out of Bermuda is going to be a nice little haul for the overall for the Aussies if they do win it.
I think for sure they'll be thinking big picture here, though. So, I mean, the first priority for the Kiwis here will be making sure that they don't have any sort of collisions whatsoever. So there's no bigger points that could be added to that lead that they've just managed to to acquire from the Australians. So objective number one will be make sure there's no incidents and no damage points given or received, and then objective number two will be just trying to stay away from, I guess, the Aussies, who I'd expect to be quite aggressive in this next pre-start. I mean, best case scenario for the Kiwis is they obviously beat the Australians, whether they win or not probably doesn't really matter. But worst case scenario for them would be, to finish third and have the Australians win with the Spanish in between. That'd probably be the worst case. But even then, only 2 places it's not too detrimental to your season points. So I think you'll see one boat trying to sail very clean and sailing their own race, and then you'll see another boat probably being the aggressor and trying to make something happen.
You guys know the course a bit better. You guys have been there and whatnot. Do you guys know where Crescent Reef is? Oh, we're going to head. I think we're going to be able to hear from Diego now, which might be quite cool.
What was going through your mind as France closed in so tight on you?
Yeah, we were like quite in a comfortable position to make it into the final, and yeah, we shared the comms quite a lot in the boat, and I got wrong one comm, and we went too early on the board drop, and yeah, this made our life very, very hard. Luckily, we didn't crash with the French, which was a potential penalty point situation, and we just made it into the final. So yes, it was very emotional until the end, but turned out okay. Now we are focusing to try and make a good final race.
And Nicole, what changes now there's just 3 boats? Is there a big change of strategy for you?
Yeah, I think it becomes sorry, it was off. I think it becomes a way more open course, just 3 of us, so yeah, maneuvers and getting all of that right is going to be important.
Okay, nice. And for Florian, is there anything now going to change? You've got a bit more space on the course. Can we expect to see the Spanish boat turn on the speed boost?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just said that probably the windward start won't pay off so much anymore, as we're a smaller fleet. Don't tell the others, but we're trying to not be the furthest windward boat, and from there we'll see. But for sure, we expect 2 teams that are going to be very aggressive around the course, and it's a great opportunity for us to try to put that into practice and keep learning to be as aggressive as the top teams.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, Florian Triddle, Nicole Vandervelde, and Diego Botín. We wish you the very best of luck. And, Stevie, I know the fans that are cheering for this team, they won in Los Angeles. Keep it in fuego, and they seem to just make that work.
All right, I think Jody's just trying to line up an interview. We've got just under 6 minutes to the next race. Yeah, it's definitely going to be. I sort of am chatting to Dad here on Messenger, and he says that there's going to be the wind's dropping out a little bit near Crescent Reef. I don't know where that is on the course. Do you know where that is, Chris?
Yeah, yep.
Is that up top or down low, or where is it?
I'm just trying to listen to hold on. See if we can.
Oh yeah, let's hear what they're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, we're definitely through. So it's good to get out of dry and save your best for last.
Pete, you got a better start in that race. Really got yourself in the race, but then I mean that first upwind leg, it was like you just hit the nitros button or something. I was going to ask your old mate next to you there, Blair Tuke, but he's got his comms off. What are you doing on those upwind legs? I mean that was just amazing.
Oh, we enjoy sailing upwind here. Have for a very long time since the Cup days. But yeah, it's just such a beautiful spot. I think we got either lucky or managed it well. But yeah, bottom edge are 2 really good shifts, and there's a fair bit going on the course out here. So if you can string a couple together, you gain a whole heap. So it won't be over till the end in this race.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was luck, mate. But anyway, final now. What's the difference?
Obviously 3 boats. You'll see everyone trying to get a whole week more run up than they were in the other races, but it just kind of comes down to a lot more your boat on boat, a lot more boat speed. Traditionally that suited us, so hopefully we can put another one together today.
All right, Pete, we appreciate your time. It looks like your commentator days are going to have to wait a little bit longer. So.
All righty, there you go. That's Peter Burling giving you his intel. We're going to try and ring Aidan Menzies, who's the boat captain for the Australian boat. You just see the Australians on set there. Here we go, Aidan.
How are you, mate?
Good, mate. You're live on SailGP once again, mate. Thanks for your time. With 3.5 minutes to go, what was their thoughts on the team?
Yeah, look, they're fighting with Roo today. We've had a few calibration issues with the boat in general, so they're actually having to adapt how they're sailing the boat. So that's it's playing up with them a little bit, but they're in good spirits. And they had a couple of Bradburys and got themselves through. Yeah, that last one certainly helped them get in the second spot there. But Chris and Arnie, you got anything for Aidan?
Well, what's it? Chris, have you got something there?
Yeah. What's the strategy for this last race, Aidan? Are we going to see any aggression from the Aussies in relation to the Kiwis here, or are they just focusing on their own race?
Yeah, look, I think you'd be looking to see them adapt their starting. The coach is straight on giving them the starting techniques to the other two boats straight away, is where they've been starting, what they've been doing. So we'll adapt our starts accordingly. So, yeah, I think you'd see a little bit more aggression, but I mean, it's such a thing, right? Just getting off the start line. Unfortunately, you can't focus on one boat. So it's going to be a bit of fireworks, I reckon.
Yeah, we were chatting about that, Aidan, with 2 minutes 20 to go for the start. We were chatting about that after Pete's comments in the Racing on the Edge episode, and saying that the Kiwis were slightly compromised or slightly weakened when Nathan was steering the boat. That's the only reason the Aussies won in Sydney. So there's nothing like giving the Aussies a little bit of fire in the belly to come out and jam one back into the Kiwis. And I'm sitting here with two Kiwis at the moment, which makes it quite interesting. A little bit of a chat. So, mate, when you say you're fighting calibration problems, just give us a little bit more intel on that. What's that, the whole system or just a part of the system?
Just parts of the system. It's not unusual by any means. Between all the boats, it happens every now and then. We're just getting our boards coming down a bit faster than what they would generally like. They've got the option to change that through the computer system and the flight controller panel, but we're sort of running out of scope a little bit, so they're having to adapt accordingly. So, yeah, no, it's not too bad, but it's definitely slightly compromised, and they're not quite as happy as they normally would be.
All right, mate, with 1 minute 10 to go, we'll let you go. Thanks very much for your time, mate, this weekend. You've been brilliant, and thanks for joining us once again on SailGP on the Lock.
No worries. Thanks, guys, and good luck.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That's pretty cool to be able to get these guys to come on, literally live in the middle of the Great Sound in Bermuda and give us that sort of intel. So I hope you people that have joined us here on SailGP on the Lock enjoy that. And I know what we are going to enjoy, and that's the start of this next race. And already you see the Kiwis and the Australians get into each other, just like we thought, Chris and Anna. And the good old Spanish are up the top there on their Pat Malone doing nothing. How's this going to play out with 30 seconds to go?
Yeah, I think you're right. The Aussies, Kiwis locked already, and it's going to be an interesting race, I think. Can you guys explain to me what the star is on the top of the Spanish right now?
It's basically a new innovation that tells you that their broadcast think that they're the boat with the best starting strategy.
All right.
At the moment, so I don't know how that works because all of a sudden the star's still on, and 1 second to go. And, they had a good start because they hit the line with speed. So there you go, the Spanish down the leeward. Aussies now copping a heap of wing wash out of the New Zealand boat. So Aussies didn't get the best of starts there, and the Spanish have just kept doing what they're doing thanks to Hamish Willcox's brilliant coaching.
Excellent coaching, eh? Go, Dad.
And there it is, Spain around the first mark in first position. Now it becomes interesting because the Aussies can split here. They have the option to bail out, and that's exactly what they're going to do. You see in the background they're going for a jibe early. And is that a good strategy, Chris, in a three-boat final just to try and find some air? Or
well, it's the only real option, to be honest. You don't really want to follow the guys in front unless breeze, so they jibe off early. And it looks like there's actually good pressure where they've just jibed to. I'm just looking on the screen, same as everyone else, but they look like they've got that puff now, and they'll make a little gain there. But the big thing that happens there is the Aussies dived away early and the Kiwis went with them pretty soon after. So none of those two boats are laying the bottom gate. The Spanish extended, went a little bit further, and if they can lay down to this left-hand turn as we look at it, that'll be a big game for them because it'll be one less jibe. So
they all look a little bit bow up, but don't they? Normally, you know, when you get that big header, you just send it straight down the ladder line. So
so it's right shift. So the Aussies will come back strong on start, but they won't have a piece of the Kiwis, but they'll definitely be back in phase when they jibe over.
There we go. The Aussies are jibed from that on board. They're still pointing their bows behind everyone else. So it didn't pay off, that early jibe for the Aussies at this stage.
The Spanish will be strong here if they can lay this left turn, which I think they are.
Straight into it.
They can.
Straight into it and gone. It's a clear air for them, and it's a short boundary over to that right-hand side. So, you know, they're almost forced to tack and follow the New Zealanders, and the Australians look like they're going to go to the left. So it'll be almost like a loose cover.
Certainly looks like right shift at the moment, so the Spanish probably don't want to extend all the way to the boundary here. I'll be looking at tacking short.
Aussies are going into one early. They don't want to follow the Kiwis all the way across to the left-hand boundary. They're going mid-course. So does that mean Tommy's seen something on that right-hand side, or the strategist has seen something on that right-hand side that they like, or they're just trying to stay in clear air and try to purl these boats back? 3 of 7, so we've got 2 more legs, so we've got a longer race here too.
How ironic is that? There's only 3 boats and they extend the course.
I know, it's ridiculous that they had 15 minutes between these last two races, and the race was only 8 minutes. Come on, SailGP. Come on,
SailGP.
The Kiwis have made big gains here in the Spanish, so I think the Spanish just maybe slightly guilty of being a little bit out of phase. They went around that bottom mark very strong, but it was a right shift, so they went left turn. If they had tacked earlier off the boundary, I think they would have been a lot stronger, but they sailed a header all the way to the boundary and then tacked. They were still on the right shift when they tacked, but since the tack, breeze started to shift back left, and that's why the Kiwis have made a big gain.
Yeah, and the Aussies haven't done anything going in that early tack. They've actually lost a fair bit of ground there, as you can see from that shot. So at the moment, it's about Spain and New Zealand are going over that right-hand side, which I like over there. I think they'll come off that boundary pretty strong if they nail their tack. And this could be quite interesting. Could be a lead change. Just showing there that it's a theory, easy for you to say, lead change. But they've still got to do one more manoeuvre here and wind the speed back up.
They will almost be bow to bow after this manoeuvre here. So it'll be a tight cross. But the big question is, are any of these 2 boats laying the top of the course? Because if they're not, they'll have to do an extra manoeuvre. So it looks to my eye right now that the Spanish might be laying the right turn and the Kiwis might be laying the left. So probably going to see them split the gate at the top of the course here. The Spanish don't look like they're crossing the Kiwis. Which
they're going to follow them into the left or down, tacking underneath them.
I don't really think that's the right thing to do. But
the Kiwis with plenty of great tack, but cracking tack for them. So that was a big pressure tack.
I don't think they were going to be able to make that stick, but they did. So that was a great move in the end. They managed to just stay in front. But the big thing now is you've got to pick the right moment to jibe, because if you get slow right now, which the Spanish are slightly, look at the Kiwis, they put the bow up, they get fast. Once they get fast, you've got the option to jibe, and if you're slower and you're the boat in front, you can't match that. But right as I say that, the Spanish look like they're going to try and lock the Kiwis here.
The boundary will come into play here soon, so if it is a race to that right-hand boundary, the Kiwis will get the rights because they'll get to the boundary zone first, and it'll force the Spanish to have to jibe off, and the Kiwis will go pretty deep. They'll go as deep as they possibly can. You can see they're only just setting up for their jibe now, and they bang right on that ley line. So that yellow line is the ley line, the theoretical line to take them down to the bottom gate, and they got right on top of that. So if they can soak down underneath the Spanish there without any sort of wing wash, we may be just getting a little bit of turbulent air coming out of the Spanish there, but they're looking good, Anna.
They're looking great. And I don't know, Aussies just sort of just hanging back and hoping for a wind shift, aren't they? That's all they can do now.
Well, yeah, but also these two boats are so close together that if they get engaged just for the slightest of seconds, if there's if there's a luff or a starboard port or something, then the Aussies will be right back in it. So
Yeah,
I see them splitting the course here, which is smart if you're the Kiwis here, because it removes the chance of an engagement.
Yeah.
The Aussies aren't going to make this right-hand turn here, so they're going to have to do another jibe and probably take themselves all the way across that left-hand gate. So they're just going to get further and further behind. So they're throwing a few Hail Marys into the racetrack, and that's not good strategy. Hope is not a good strategy in any racing. They come off that right-hand side. The Spanish good tack again. They've certainly got their boat work their boat handling sorted out.
Yeah, they're definitely coming across at a better angle than this one.
Great shot there of the Kiwis throwing it into attack. He's very aggressive in his tacks, Pete. He swings that thing around. The G-forces that those sailors must be experiencing on that tack are ginormous. Look at that they've done really well off that right-hand side, the Spanish.
Yeah, definitely in phase. But it almost looks like it's starting to go left as they come back together here. So expect to see the Spanish tack on top of the Kiwis here, I would say.
So they'd start to get a little bit of excitement going on that boat at the moment, the Spanish. They know they've got a half a leg, upwind leg to go, and then a full downwind, and then into the finish. And I tell you what, for these two guys, for these Spanish boat to beat the New Zealanders and the Australians, who are the so-called heavyweights of this fleet, that will give this team massive confidence going into the next round in Canada.
Huge amounts of confidence. And Diego, I mentioned it yesterday, but Diego and Flo are coming off a win at the final World Cup before the Olympic Games, which was I think it was in Marseille at the Olympic venue. I could be wrong. But so they're just going from strength to strength. So from the 49er class, jumping in here and working on the SailGP boat. So it must all help a little bit, doesn't it, Chris? Jumping from different boats. I mean, obviously Pete and Blair did it for a long time before they hung up the 49er boots. But yeah, I mean, it's all sailing, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It was really interesting that the Spanish split as far as they did there. It was high risk. I think it's going to be all right for them, but the match racer and me.
Tack for Pete.
Yeah, so
this is it. This is the big call. That tack. They look pretty slow coming out of that. Just under bloody 15 knots there, the Kiwis. So, they obviously decided to do that fairly late, because you've seen the scramble on board, people starting to run around everywhere. So they seen the Spanish were loading up for that left-hand side. So he's just trying to throw something at it, because this is it. This is the last downwind. The Aussies are 50 metres behind, but I don't think they've got any options. They'll need some sort of miracle to get back into this.
Yeah, what's important here is thinking about the bottom of the course. So I actually like what the Kiwis are doing here, because it's a left turn at the bottom to the finish. So they're going to do one jibe off that boundary, and then come back with starboard right of way. So if the Spanish don't cross in front here, it's going to be a serious problem. The Kiwis right now look like they've got a really good angle. So
the number isn't closing just yet, the distance between. I'm surprised that the Spanish never went a little bit deeper there, just to try and get in right into that ley line and come in hot. But maybe they're just protecting the midsection. But there you see that. They're making that bottom mark. You see the green light flashing on the red mark. That's the next mark they need to go around. They've only got to do that. Done a great job. Great job.
As long as they're laying into the bottom, they're going to be...
Yeah, they're laying it, mate. They're laying it. They've extended from the Kiwis there. And it's Diego Botín and his young Spanish team coming into the bottom mark. And they're about to take the win here in Bermuda Sail GP. What an awesome effort for the young Spanish team. They would be super stoked. Look at them. They are pumped.
Wow, I love it. That's their second, I think, just their second event win, isn't it?
Look at that. That's just pure. They are so happy on board that thing right now.
Wow.
Even got a fist pump out of Stewie Dodson. You don't see that very often.
And like I said, mate, they've just beaten these boys here and girls, the Kiwis and then the Aussies. They're two pretty powerful teams in SailGP. All the talks about these guys all the time, but look at that on board. That is pure happiness, mate. Your dad, Anna, would be just doing backflips in the lounge room right now.
I think he'll be pretty pumped, that's for sure. Yeah, he's been sort of coaching them for the last sort of year, so it's been awesome to see the progression through the fleet, and to now take their second event win is so exciting.
Yeah, and what better a place to do it here in Bermuda. It's a beautiful venue. It's been awesome foiling conditions, and yeah, good on them. Good on them. Hopefully we'll get a camera to them fairly soon and a microphone, and if they do, we'll take that interview for you guys out there. But well, what a weekend. You know, that threw up everything. Canada was strong, missed the final. And, you know, the Aussies come in with a broken boat and made the final, and the Kiwis made the final. So the overall point score will be quite interesting going into the next event in Halifax in Canada. I reckon it's going to be tight at the top.
In just a month's time. I love how there's a trampoline there, so they're just bouncing up and down of excitement, but it's just exaggerated because they're actually bouncing.
You see that front grinder get thrown out and he's just bouncing off over the finish line. That was so cool. You see there on the start, they come from the very top, and then they thought, righto, we're going to get in behind these guys and put the hammer down, and just blew them away at the start here. It was so cool. And then just sail fast and smart, Chris. So, you know, they got the pressure applied to them off the Kiwis. Like, look at that. They literally had to duck them there. So, and here they're only a boat length apart.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive because I feel like we've seen that situation 1,000 times, and Pete kind of always finds a way to just get that split at the top at that one last time and manages to find that one last shift. But the Spanish backed themselves there. They split a couple of times, and I thought it was quite high risk what they did, but high risk, high reward. They managed to pull it off, and very impressive regatta win, the second one of the season for them.
That double tack at the top there with the Kiwis, you see, we just spotted then on this, the grinder didn't have enough time to run over and get into his position. It's obviously a late call to go back to that right-hand side to split. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, and we're all smarter for it, but would have been interesting if he just locked in and put the bow down and tried really closing the gauge onto the Spanish coming into that top and tried to apply a bit of pressure. It could have been a different race, but I guess, you know, it's hard to beat people if you're following them, so you need to throw something at them.
And the big telling stat there for me, as we see it on the screen, is the manoeuvres. So the Spanish only doing 9 tacks and jibes, and both New Zealand and Australia are doing 11. So if you think about the distance and how much they won that race by, having done 2 less manoeuvres, you know, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. That was the difference.
And what's that going to do to the overall leaderboard really here?
I'll tell you in about 3 seconds, I hope.
No, tell me now. I want to know now.
The rich get richer, put it that way.
I think what's going to happen in the overall is, come on, graphic.
Kiwis will extend their lead at the top.
Well, they'll put another point on the Australians
for the season.
Here we go. We've got some onboard interviews, so hopefully we can get these wound up.
We didn't have a great start in the final. We didn't do a good last tack into the line, unfortunately, and we just couldn't build speed. So it was a bit frustrating, but yeah, congratulations to Spain, their first win.
Well, so yeah, the first time they sort of won against you, big guns,
second.
as it were, out there. They had to come out and prove themselves, and it was a fantastic race. But must be positive for your team, though. It'll be a tough event in Christchurch, and wheels are very much back on the wagon now, Tom.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's nice to get a good result here. We won the fleet racing, and then obviously a frustrating final. But yeah, we're back, and looking forward to the next event now.
We'll take time to talk to Tosh Bryant. Tosh, as the strategist out there, you guys got yourself in the final. That's job number 1. Job 2, though, obviously, is trying to find a way to get around the Kiwis and the Spanish today. With this big of a course, was it challenging to find that pressure out there?
Yeah, obviously, when you start a little bit behind, it's really tricky to get past everyone, especially in such like today where everyone can sail pretty well. So yeah, really tough, but hopefully we'll come back well in Halifax.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, team, and yeah, good to see you back and performing so well.
I'd say
Sounded
we're about to
pretty
go on
predicted, didn't
board
they?
with Spanish. Yeah, look, we spoke about Tommy's demeanour yesterday, how excited he was and how relaxed on that on-board interview. That was completely different. That was completely different. He was gutted.
Great starts. Were you surprised that Diego Botín tried to thread the needle on the left side of that course?
Yeah, I wouldn't have quite said consistency was our forte this weekend. But yeah, great to pull out a couple of great results at the end. Obviously get that win to get our way through to the final. And then we ended up a little bit deep, a little bit compromised, attacking the Aussies really at the start, which kind of handed it to the Spanish. And, they sailed an awesome race.
Blair, we've not heard a lot from you all weekend there, mate. That black foil boat seems to be going pretty well with you out there. At what point in a race like that do you feel like you've got to roll the dice? You had the Spanish under a lot of pressure, and then it seemed like at some stage you decided you just got to go for it. When does that happen in the race for you?
Probably that last top mark was the time we went for it. We did really good work after them leading at Mark 1 to hang tough and just dip them on that first upwind. Maybe an opportunity there at the top, which we'll have to review, where we could have maybe split. But from there they sailed a great race, and we couldn't quite get them.
All right, Pete, Liv, and Blair, thank you guys so much for your time. And again, you pick up another point on the Australians, so you maintain your lead over them by another point in.
And I don't think we'll be getting it on board at the moment. They're doing the champagne moment on the Spanish boat. Oh, yeah, they are.
It was amazing to have a battle with the Aussies and the Kiwis, who are clearly two of the top teams, and to be able to fight with them hand on hand and come out on top, it's an amazing feeling.
Not only were you leading, but you were pretty combative there and extended your lead, Diego.
Yeah, I mean, we get on well with the ships in the second part of the race, but I think the key part was the start. And yeah, we kept it clean from there. It's been a very emotional day for us. We really wanted to make that final, and coming out with a win here is just amazing.
You almost didn't make the final. You were there on cowback.
Yeah, we made a big mistake in the last mark grounding, and we almost lost it there. Many of us thought that we lost it, and yeah, it was close. It's SailGP, I guess.
And your top three overall, obviously haven't had a win since LA, but how are you going to celebrate?
Just being all together, have a nice dinner. Our CEO always has a nice dinner tonight, so I guess cash in on that for sure.
And I'm not sure how the overall points are working out, Diego, but obviously you've got 3 events left after this one. You just want to keep making finals?
Yeah, the way we see it is we just need to keep sailing the same way and try to put as many points as we can on our board and avoid those penalty points. That we had a close one with the French today with potential penalty points. So yeah, keep focusing on everything we are doing.
Well, you fly the flag and pop the champagne and enjoy the celebrations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was pretty cool. How excited were they?
Yeah, absolutely pumped. I think it was the who said it was their first win. It's definitely their second win of the season. I think they won in Cagliari. Was that right? In Italy, earlier on in the season.
I think it was LA.
Oh, LA. It was LA. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, but I think the young strategist lady there, she's mentioned it. What we were talking about, for them to beat those two top teams and mix it out with them, and I don't think I've seen a team that excited to win. That is so good to see. Good on them.
Yeah, well, there hasn't been many other winners this season, has there? But they'll certainly enjoy this one. A little bit disappointing, the length of the races today, wasn't it?
Yeah, they could have been like a couple more legs, right? Like that final race. I don't understand why they wouldn't have, I guess, done that.
There we go. There's a Season 4 championship that you've been asking for, Anna. So the Kiwis are 7 points ahead of the Australians, and Spain with that lead, that win coming out of Bermuda, has locked themselves into third. Nice 9 points. So that's Rockwell, Denmark have got a fair bit of work to do to to catch up to the Spain there. You've almost got to win an event or put nine points between you and the Spanish, and with only three more events to go, all of a sudden that gets a hard task. If the Spain keeps sailing consistent, that gets a hard task. And France and Canada, they've come out of this weekend not real good at all, and poor old Switzerland are still up the coming up last. So there you go. There's your overall.
Love it. Thanks, Jody. Appreciate that.
Took me a while to get it sorted, mate. The graphics department here at SailGP on the lock were working a bit slow on that one.
Oh, damn. Sorry about that. Is that my department?
No.
I'm just gonna, mate. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I think. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. We're going to wind this up. So the next event's at Halifax. Hopefully, SailGP on the lock will be there, giving you a bit more of what we've just given you, and let's try and make this continue for everyone that has joined in over the weekend. And once again, we apologise for yesterday, the slight technical issues we had, but hopefully it's all been rectified, and today was much better. And on behalf of Anna Willcox and Chris Steele, I'm Jody Shiels, and this is SailGP on the lock. Tell your friends about us. Hook us up on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. And until next time, see you later.